welcome to my channel, Mystic Mim Tarot. I hope you're all having a nice day today. I want to thank you all for supporting my channel. Thanks for liking the videos, sharing them and subscribing. I cannot believe that I'm nearly at 20,000. I'm thrilled about it. Today I'm doing a very specific reading. It definitely won't resonate with all of you. It is for those of you who have encountered a romance scammer or a con man. In other words, someone who stole your heart and then stole your money. I will finish it off with songs too. It is only a general reading, so not all of the cards will apply to your situation. Take the cards that do and leave the ones that don't. Also, this reading is for a divine feminine or a divine masculine. There is no gender in tarot. Let's begin. What would Spirit like you to know about this scammer that you encountered? This con man swindled you out of your money after he stole your heart, divine feminine. He profiled you in the beginning so that he could work out what you had to offer and what he could benefit from you, whether that be clothes, jewelry, a car, holidays, dinners at restaurants, credit cards, or expensive experiences. Men like this scammer need to be brought to justice in the courts and by God. These men open doors, compliment you constantly, say and do all the right things, and are such gentlemen. It is all an act, though, to gain your trust and make you open up to them, especially about your finances. These con men love bomb you and lavish you with attention and affection in order to influence and manipulate you. You have to watch out for those men who confess their love to you in the first week or two of knowing you. They are usually the narc love bombers or the sweetheart swindlers with secret motives. His main goal is to take charge of your finances. That's why marriage is brought up quickly. He feels that is the easiest way to get a hold of your hard-earned money. One day the penny dropped, DF, and you realized what sort of fake man that you had been dealing with. Those rose-colored glasses came straight off. He thought that he was superior to women, especially a God's gift to women. Women are lucky to have him apparently, even though in reality he has nothing to offer a woman at all. He meets his prey mostly on dating apps, social media, bars, pubs and clubs. Your values and interests seem to be perfectly matched in the beginning because he was shape-shifting and pretending to be your dream person. He mirrored your likes, dislikes, hobbies and interests to create a bond with you immediately. For you, the monetary damage was difficult. However, the emotional damage was even worse. Having to detach from someone that you thought you had such a strong emotional connection with. He has left a trail of broken hearts behind him. This man came across as a law-abiding citizen, but he was in fact a criminal. For some of you DFs, you told this man things that you had never told anyone before in your life. That's how strong the emotional connection with him felt and how much trust that you had in him. He was so passionate in the beginning. You were bound to fall in love with him, DF. That's why you made so many excuses for him, even to your friends and family who didn't like him. He is a con man. He is so dishonest and takes advantage of women. He is nothing but a crook. He should have the book thrown at him for the amount of innocent lives that he has ruined. He was a master of excuses and had an answer for everything when you had questions that needed answering. Despite how he hurt you, you still know how to love, and you have only love in your heart. You have a beautiful soul, Divine Feminine. All you ever did was love and want to be loved in return. He constantly played on your heartstrings. That's why you did what you did for him. You were swept off your feet by him in the beginning. Did he disappear for long stretches of time? If so, he was entertaining other options and lying to them too. He was lining up his new victim so that he could rob them too. You wish that you hadn't have shut out your family and friends for this man in the past. He wanted you isolated so that he could gain full control over your mind and your finances. It was one-sided. It was all about him, what he wanted, how he felt, what he needed, how he was going, etc. These men love to isolate you so that you don't have a support system as backup. Also, so that you don't confide in anyone about what he proposes to you regarding your finances. He filled the hole in your life at the time. It felt amazing and that you had met your perfect match. But in reality, he was a nightmare. Sometimes he applied pressure on you to get money from you, using all sorts of excuses to do so. Some of these opportunists took your assets that you shared together as husband and wife. They then moved in with a karmic woman. She then benefited from your hard-earned work and assets that you had built up together in your marriage. Some of you got loans to give this man money, and you still owe a lot to the bank, or you had to file for bankruptcy. You were just looking for love. You were brainwashed by him, and he had you under his control for a period of time. For a minority of you in the collective, this man stole your entire inheritance that a loved one left for you. You will receive everything back that was stolen from you by me. When you get into your divine life purpose, you will be rewarded with abundance. You were caught up in the excitement, and he appeared to tick all of the right boxes in the beginning. For some of you, he gave you flowers, teddy bears, jewelry, and even chocolates to win you over. He let you down at times and cancelled on dates that you had prepared for. He was very unreliable and irresponsible. He was romantic, more romantic than any man had ever been with you in your life. For some of you though, deep down you were a bit suspicious of him and his motives. After this experience, some of you began to put all men in the same category. That is how scarred you are. It has been a very painful experience for you. You have felt so embarrassed by it all. You will fully heal from this betrayal, even if it does still feel raw to you. You had your hard-earned money stolen from you, as well as your hopes and dreams stolen too. You have become tougher and more hypervigilant now from this experience. A lot of these men initiate connections through Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. They start by creating a fake profile. It begins with them sending you a text, then making phone calls to you for hours at a time. This is how they make you fall in love with them. You probably noticed they wanted to know all about you when you don't know much about them at all. Women over the age of 40 are presumed to be working, and they also have access to money. Well, this is what these scammers believe to be true anyway, and that is why they go after you. He went around in circles with you, being so indecisive and not keeping it real with you. He was hiding a lot. Towards the end, he was finding it more and more difficult to keep up with the lies that he had told you. He laid it on thick with his over-the-top compliments and then told you sob stories about his life. You suffered ruin, hardship, and broken trust because of this one twisted individual. For some of you, this guy stole your credit card information and racked up huge debts for you. These men come up with sob stories like, "I just lost my wife to cancer," or "My greedy ex-wife took all of my money in our divorce." It is all nothing but lies. These scammers thrive on dating sites and in chat rooms. You wish that you had have gotten to know his friends and family better. But for some of you, you never did. He never introduced them to you at all. That's because they know what a rotten egg he is. In the beginning, you took everything that he said to you as truth. You followed your heart rather than your head. Was he an expert at getting into your head? These scammers are sophisticated with their manipulation tactics. They have often had years of practice and have left behind multiple victims. You probably wonder how this man can sleep at night. The reason he can is because he has no conscience. For some of you, he put pressure on you and wouldn't stop or get off your back until you gave him the money that he wanted. For men like this, scamming women is their full-time job. This guy told you that you were the most beautiful woman in the world. Some of you credit your faith for saving you from this evil predator. For some of you, this guy always had drama following him and too many things going wrong in his life. He knew that you always had a listening ear when it came to him. Love makes you blind, doesn't it, Divine Feminine? Lies are like rats. When you hear one, that means there's hundreds more of them. It is so heartbreaking when you realize that every single thing that has come out of this man's mouth is a lie. For those of you who are still recovering from this, you will be okay. You will receive your justice. It is so sad that sometimes the victim of the con man gets blamed and shamed for being stolen from. It is never the victim's fault. It is the criminal who does the damage and steals the money in the first place. For some of you DFs in the collective, you were cheated out of money by your ex-husband instead, not this romance scammer. Your ex found loopholes in the system so that you didn't receive the adequate alimony or child support to raise your children. You felt as though you had hit the jackpot when you met this guy. All he did though was cause trouble and burden after burden in your life. What else would Spirit like you to know about this scammer that you encountered, Divine Feminine? For some of you, he told you that he couldn't pay for stuff in the beginning because he was waiting on an inheritance or that he was waiting for some checks to clear. He promised to pay you back for everything at a later date whilst he lived it up on your tab. Sometimes these men prey on single mothers. This scammer wore different masks for different people that he encountered along the way in his life. He steals your heart and then steals your money. You finally escaped his manipulation tactics. That was when your mind began to clear and you saw everything for what it was. He could never truly love anyone. He only loves himself. This man always blames other people for things that go wrong in his life. He lacks accountability. People that don't know him would say he is a very charismatic, smooth-talking man. That's probably what attracted you to him in the first place. These kinds of men usually target women who are divorced. These women are seeking out attention and companionship after having experienced a terrible divorce and feeling a bit alone in the world. His goal is to get to know you as much as possible in a very short period of time. This is so that he can size you up, figure you out, and play on any insecurities and weaknesses that you may have. He pretends to have old-fashioned values and appears to treat a woman like a queen. But he ultimately does this knowing that there will be a big payoff in the end. So in a sense, he is acting and playing a certain role in your life to then deceive and steal from you. He strings women along. Sometimes he strings multiple women along simultaneously. Some of you DFs were actually left in debt from this man. You had to file bankruptcy, or you are still paying off the debts. Some of them convinced you to open a joint bank account together, then eventually tried to withdraw all the money, or successfully did so. Some of these men claim that they need urgent help with money for family expenses, even though they never give the money to their family. You are a very intelligent woman, and in hindsight, you feel that you have acted a bit irrational by even believing this man's empty promises and future faking. Even though the alarm bells were ringing at times, you ignored them because of the love you felt for this man. You were convinced that he was the one for you. For some of you, this man left you ill, and you have had health issues due to the betrayal and the heartache that he caused you. Some of you DFs got the authorities involved. You want this man charged with stealing, and you want him to pay the money back to you that he owes you, or to go to jail. He is very convincing with his words and promises initially, so as to easily worm his way into your life and all of your private business. With him, your money was his money, and his money was his money. Some of you feel like a fool for allowing this man to take advantage of you in the way that he did, but you shouldn't. He has had years of experience grooming and conning women. He is an expert in the field of making a woman feel a particular way that she has never felt before in her entire life. He comes on way too strong and too fast. He starts talking about marriage pretty much straight away. He proposes this before you have even gotten to know him properly. He is like the Tinder swindler. For a minority of you, he can't work because he has a criminal record, so he takes off lonely, vulnerable women. He finds them mostly on dating sites and Facebook. He was cruel and evil to sell you a fairy tale that he had no intentions of upholding. He wore a mask and pretended to be the man of your dreams. He offered you what he knew that you wanted, but never carried through with any of it. It was all palaver. This man was a romance scammer. He won over your heart and then did nothing but take from you. He is diabolical. He tells every woman he encounters the same thing, that they are the love of his life and that he has never met anyone like them before. He's been doing this for a very long time to many different women. Your brain told you that he was just using you for money and that he was a scamming criminal. Your heart, though, told you that he was real, he adored you, and that you were meant to be together forever. For some of you, your heart and your mind were in conflict with one another. Did he ever threaten you? For example, if you don't help me, we can't be together. If he didn't think that you were intelligent before, he certainly thinks you are now. You are a wake-up to him now, Divine Feminine. I started revealing all of his skeletons in his closet to you one at a time. I revealed his true intentions and the lies and excuses that he gave you in order to extort money from you. I didn't want you to waste one more second on this guy, and that's why I started revealing the true him to you. His ego was being fed by you when he was with you, DF, because you treated him so well, complimented him, and spoiled him when you were with him. Because you are so honest and trustworthy, you presume that others have a genuine heart like you. They don't always, and this is a huge lesson that you have now learned. You should share your story with others. It would help your recovery and would be inspiring to other victims. He did things like carry your bags, make you drinks, buy you flowers, and run you baths. He did things that no man had ever done for you before. It felt too good to be true because it was. He originally came across as a gentle, caring, and kind soul. You were a victim, Divine Feminine, because he targeted you. However, now you no longer are. You are a wake up to these types of men now. This whole experience toughened you up. For a minority of you, you have been in contact with other women who fell prey to him. You are building a case on him together. These men target middle-aged women whose kids are all grown up and who are divorced. Some of you suffered so much from this fake man that you are still now recovering from it. It took such a toll on you. For some of you, this man tried to or did take your assets away from you, including houses and cars, and even your life savings in some cases. He was charming, smooth talking, and for some of you even handsome, but he was a devil inside. Some of you have felt enormous shame and guilt that you were duped. However, none of this was your fault, so stop blaming yourself. Friends, family, and work colleagues all warned you about him. You were way too invested in him though, and your feelings had already gotten involved, so you chose to ignore them. You have asked yourself how you fell for all of this, but the truth is that it could happen to anyone. You feel that he is one nasty, cold-hearted opportunist who needs to be punished and stopped in his tracks before he does this again to another woman. He taught you to never trust anyone like him ever again, and to not rush into a romantic relationship again. You just wanted someone to love you properly. That is all you ever wanted, dear. You were unfortunately a target, Divine Feminine, for this scamming, lying criminal. He wanted you for what you could do for him. He had dollar signs in his eyes. He has always made money off situations or women. It was such a whirlwind romance. You didn't know what had hit you. He was claiming he loved you within days or weeks. The journey with him was both heartbreaking and expensive for you. He appeared to be so passionate, devoted, and protective of you in the beginning. He painted this wonderful picture of your future that you two would have together. You thought the world of him originally, and that you had met the man of your dreams. He promised eternal love and then left you heartbroken. He used romance and chivalry as a way to entice you into his web of lies. For some of you, he treated you like a queen and waited on you hand and foot to win you over in the beginning. You went through bereavement and the 5 stages of grief when he left. You had to process all of your emotions. You had to recover from the love that you thought you had with this sneaky, conniving, cunning trickster. You are such an angel, Divine Feminine. That's why you attract demons like this man. He promised you everything to take care of you, buy you whatever you wanted, and be there for you for life. He never kept one of these promises. Sometimes these scammers have another woman, their next victim, picked out and lined up before they even leave you. There was no foundation with him. It was all based on a bunch of lies and empty promises. He was cruel and he lacked a sensitivity chip, DF. They move from one woman to another very quickly. They desert their exes and act as though they never even existed in their life. They relocate so the ex cannot find them because they have stolen funds from them too. Some of you have ongoing lawsuits where you are suing this man for what he stole from you. They lie about certifications they have received and what their real career is. It starts off with them asking you for a loan that they claim they will pay back very soon, but they never do. This man is insincere, and you can never trust a word that comes out of his mouth. Everything with him was fabricated. He lied about his exes, his assets, his success, his achievements, his jobs, his status, and his health. He lied about everything. You now view him as a fraudulent, pathological, narcissistic liar. He will stop at nothing to get what he wants in life. He created a whole persona that was nothing like the real him to trick you into believing he was your knight in shining armor. You could write a book about the impact this man had on your life, being the romance scammer that he was. There is a growing amount of these swindlers living amongst us in society now, and it is quite disturbing. What else would Spirit like you to know about this scammer that you encountered, Divine Feminine? You could never figure out why this man had such a strong hold over you in the past. Coercive control is when someone uses threats or manipulation to isolate a victim and gain control over them. This is what he used on you. It was intoxicating for you in the early stages. You were addicted to him. This man is being haunted by the terrible things that he put you through. Your ancestors will not leave him alone. You felt like you could discuss anything with him. At the start, that was. The narcissists always choose empaths. They know how caring, loving, and giving you are. You were the empath in this situation. You should be grateful that you got out of this situation when you did. Thank the Lord that you figured out how corrupt this man was. Sometimes these guys send you a notification on Facebook, and that's how it starts up when you reply to it. In the end, you were so turned off with this guy that you couldn't even stand the way he looked. You wondered what you even saw in him in the first place. A minority of you divine feminines have not even shared your experience with this man with any family, friends, or work colleagues at all. You have kept quiet about this because you feel that you were taken for a ride and you are worried it will be a bad reflection on you. For some of you, he coaxed you into giving him money, using fake excuses as to why he needed it. For others of you, he simply stole it. He swindled, scammed, and schemed. This connection was unlike any that you have had in your life. It was fast, like a whirlwind, and a complete dream. He made you feel like a queen. You felt so safe with him in the beginning. There was nothing that you held back from him. Nothing will stop these men in their pursuit of money. They will do and say whatever they have to get a hold of your fortune. This man had you caught up in your feelings and emotions for him, and he kept you stuck in a mental prison. For some of you, he changed dramatically from one day to the next. It was such a shock to your system. He loved to keep you away from your kids and family, so you couldn't discuss anything with them when things started to go downhill between you both. For some of you DFs, he was so sly that he ended up having you sell your assets and put them into a joint account. Then he withdrew all the money. For some of you, he fleeced you out of savings, homes, and cars and left you destitute. Now you are probably too scared to trust another man ever again. Dark times teach you a lot. That's why you can't regret what you went through, but rather be thankful for all the lessons that it taught you. You cared more about his character traits rather than what he could actually have done for you or bought for you. That's why it shocked you when you realized he wasn't the loyal, caring, kind, faithful type at all. He was in fact the opposite. His lack of honesty and the way he broke your trust ended it for you, Divine Feminine. He is a perpetrator and a predator. He did serve a role in your life, Divine Feminine, believe it or not. He was brought into your life to completely break you down. This was so that you could gain strength and build yourself back up again. You are more stronger than you have ever been. That's what the heartbreak did to you. It strengthened your character and your self-worth, your value, and your self-esteem. His aim in the beginning is to make you feel sorry for him. He tells you that he has lost a family member, or is a widow, or that something unfortunate has happened to him. For example, he has cancer. This is to gain your sympathy. Some of these men marry women for a visa to stay in a particular country. Others marry for financial security or even to keep a roof over their head. They all have different agendas. Some of you did have that terrible feeling in the beginning that something wasn't quite right about him, but he wouldn't stop pestering you, so you decided to take a chance on him anyway. He made you feel like he was looking for a life partner, someone to be the mother of his kids and to travel the world with. This made you feel wonderful, especially if you have experienced a string of bad luck in previous relationships. This whole experience has taught you not to trust just anyone and to never give money to any man ever again. Did he ever threaten to blackmail you if he didn't get the money that he wanted from you? The topics of conversation between you both at first included your interests, movies you like, music, children, jobs you have done, and even foods you like. They want you to talk more about yourself and less about them and their lives. They attempt to make the conversation about you. They focus on your hobbies, things you love to do, your pets, your passions, your children, where you live, etc. He broke your heart and you view him as vile and even disgusting now. This quote defines you, DF. After a while, I looked in the mirror and realized, wow, after all those hurts, scars and bruises, after all of those trials, I really made it through. I did it. I survived that was supposed to kill me. So I straightened my crown and walked away like a boss. You went through tower after tower with this man. I am here right beside you every day, supporting you, encouraging you, loving you, and helping you grow and heal. By speaking up about your experience, you could shed some light on these evil men and spread awareness about exactly how they operate. Also about the tactics they use to gain someone's trust, to then steal everything they own. You should be so proud of yourself that you made it out of this situation with this diabolical man. You are an amazing woman and you are a true survivor. Men like this man have you believing that you are the only woman in the world for them, and they will even say exactly that. All the while, though, they are telling other women exactly the same thing. They are masters of manipulation and work on women psychologically. They are experts at what they do. Before you know it, they have taken your entire life savings. He started to push you away and treat you terribly, DF, out of nowhere. You knew something wasn't right. You realized that he was playing in your face as well as behind your back. It was at that point that you cut off all communication with him. Me, your angels, and your ancestors all worked together and helped you crawl back out of that big black hole that he left you in. For some of you, he is a bigamist. He has married other women without divorcing women from his past. He goes from scamming one woman to another. That is his job. It would be beneficial for you to join a group online for the survivors of these experiences. This way you can receive support from people who have endured similar ordeals. I have helped you rebuild your life from the destruction that this man left behind for you to have to deal with and sort out. You are now living your best life after putting this horrible betrayal behind you. You really have grown from this experience. Now we will get some songs where the lyrics reflect your experience with this man. Jar of Hearts by Christina Perry. Scammer by Coca Van Gogh. Thief of Hearts by Madonna. Criminal by Britney Spears. Fraud by Jessie Reyes. You're the Devil in Disguise by Elvis. Devil Inside by In Excess. Thief in the Night by Kiss. I Am a Greedy Man by James Brown. You Little Thief by Fergal Sharkey. Now we will get some songs for you, Divine Feminine, from Spirit, after what you have endured with this man. Survivor by Destiny's Child. Ain't No Mountain High Enough by Marvin Gaye. I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. Stronger, What Doesn't Kill You by Kelly Clarkson. Never Ever Give Up by Matthew West. Dharma by Headhunters. The Show Must Go On by Queen. Good Day Sunshine by the Beatles. I'm Still Standing by Elton John. And the last one is Break My Stride by Matthew Wilder. I hope you found this reading interesting, Divine Feminine. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Bye!